Infodumpies. I am Brianne. My pronouns are she, her. I'm autistic and ADHD. And I am afraid to go in the woods alone because I owe Bigfoot $80.
Hi, I'm Violet Lance. My pronouns are she, her. I have ADHD, and I can do things with a can of LaCroix that are illegal in 5 states.
And our guest today is Taryn. Their pronouns are she, they. They're AuDHD like me, and they're hunting Bigfoot because he actually owes them $80.
Trying to even
Hi,
the score
Taryn.
there. Hi.
Hello.
You're gonna come take a dump about Bigfoot with us, right?
Yes, I am.
I'm sorry for my smooth jazz voice. I'm getting over a cold, so I'm gonna sound creaky, and I'm gonna be drinking tea. And I was gonna say sucking on Fisherman's Friends, but if you don't know that that's a brand of cough drop, that sounds not great. So there's a cough drop called Fisherman's Friend, and I will be sucking on these, trying not to make wet mouth sounds. Not sucking off friends of fishermen.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that technically, grammatically, it would be sucking off fishermen's friends. For your throat.
If you see this moving behind me, that's because somebody is trying to dig a nest in it.
It's Bigfoot, right? Not your dog.
Yeah, it's definitely Bigfoot.
It's Dogfoot.
Yeah. I at least took her collar off so she won't be making the jingle jangles.
Well, so. Violet has a pupper in her room, and I have kicked 2 of them out of my room because I'm the devil. But there could be dog noises from anywhere. But yeah, Taryn, you're here today to tell us about Bigfoot.
Yeah.
I am here to tell about Bigfoot.
Choo-choo.
I kind of wanted to...
Let's get on the Squatch train.
To focus... Yeah.
Choo-choo. All aboard the Squatch train, everybody.
I wanted to focus mostly on the Patterson-Gimlin film, which is pretty much the reason why Bigfoot is as big as it is in modern era. But before that
he was small foot.
Talk about like
a medium foot.
Yeah, before that he was small, a medium,
normal foot, just foot.
He was little foot, then he was small foot, then he was medium foot, and now he's Bigfoot. But given that giganticism is rampant in the animal kingdom, he could very well be gargantuan foot at this point. We don't know.
Big ass fucking foot.
Big ass fucking foot.
Real fucking Bigfoot.
So fun thing about the origin story of the Bigfoot is that a lot of people claim that the original sightings of Bigfoot can trace back centuries. Specifically, I want to focus on North American Bigfoot because there are wood apes, which is the accepted term, quote unquote.
Is that like the taxonomy is like Bigfoot is a type of wood ape?
Yeah. At least according to the North American Wood Ape Conservancy.
It's a good burn, too. Just calling someone, you fucking wood ape.
North American wood. NOAC?
The NOAC. The North American Wood Ape Conservancy, which is one of the links I will be sending you. Because they have an encounter reports database that has updated up until a day ago.
Cool.
Like that's how frequently it gets updated.
Damn.
So as of a day ago in Cleveland, Oklahoma, there was a husband and wife who observed a massive quote unquote figure at the back of their property.
Oh my god. I was hoping you'd say something like saw him chilling at a Denny's eating a big waffle combo or something.
Well, that's Class 1D. Sorry, that was not a day ago, but it was in 2023. So it was pretty recent. And then it 2023, and then it goes to 2021, 2020, 20. Okay, so it's not as updated as frequently as I thought it was. But it is pretty updated. Class 1 cooperation is reports involving a sighting and accompanied by another form of support. So a 1D is a visual encounter with a Sasquatch Bigfoot, is a distinct possibility involving 2 or more reliable observers, and all other sources can be reasonably ruled out.
What does that last word mean? Like, it wasn't just a great big dog, and I had just had my wisdom teeth out.
Yeah, it wasn't just
Yeah.
it wasn't just old Craig skinny dipping in the pond out back.
Yeah, quite potentially. And then I'm trying to figure out what the dating system view report window. Okay, so this was January in Cleveland County, Oklahoma. It was approximately 7 at night. I will not allow cookies, and there was 2 witnesses. Oh, there's a whole. It's like we live near OKC and have a creek in the back of our property. My wife and I were in our car on January 7th, 23 at 7:15 p.m. when we saw the figure as we pulled into our driveway! Exclamation point. The headlights kind of lit up like a reverse silhouette. It was down in the trees about 100 yards from us. We think it was a gray or tan, maybe light brown because of how the lights hit it. The elevation dropped off by the tree line and I couldn't see its legs. It was walking at an angle away from us, turned a little to its left, raised its right arm up, placed it on a tree, paused for a brief second, then walked directly into the woods. The speed it disappeared into the woods was fast. It did not appear to run because it wasn't bobbing up and down like it was. I guess it was running. It seemed to take large strides and was gone. It was huge. The torso was thick, as was its arm. When we got into our house, I walked to our back
Was he thick? I like.
Yeah.
He was thick, he was juicy, and he was fast.
Yeah.
That would be my Bigfoot sighting report.
I will never be pleasured like that again. When we got into our house, I walked onto our back patio and could smell something like a skunk scent. This could be totally coincidental, but it's something I noticed. You are in Oklahoma, sir. The entire state smells like a skunk. I know that because I've been there.
If
But
you're from
I
Oklahoma and you're listening to this,
that is not the
sorry.
opinion of Infodumpies. That is completely Taryn's opinion.
I have family there. I'm allowed to say that.
But also, I like that the lore is that Bigfoot is smelly. Right before the call, Violet was like, coincidentally, I saw a car with a bunch of Bigfoot bumper stickers, but I don't think we would be chill with them. So she took a picture, and it was someone who seems very horny to kill Bigfoot.
Yeah, it was like Bigfoot,
And I'm
official Bigfoot hunter of Oklahoma.
Yeah, and I'm like, I like the people who are more like, I would like to make sweet consensual love to Bigfoot. That's not my thing, but like, don't kill Bigfoot. And then Violet's like, well, I don't, because I think canonically Bigfoot smells like dick cheese. And I do like that this description is like something skunky.
Yeah.
It just has to be sad that as a cryptid, it's like, no, I'm canonically stinky.
Yeah, that's a rough MO, honestly.
Like, one of its aliases, or at least a species, quote unquote, of Bigfoot that resides in Florida, specifically in the Okefenokee Swamp, is the skunk ape.
Oh.
So they are very stinky, especially in Florida.
And for those of you at home who maybe, it seems at this point, I feel like a lot of people have seen Bigfoot, right? And so people generally know what Bigfoot looks like, or a Bigfoot. It's a big, like 7 foot tall plus, really big, tall, fuzzy brown ape-like creature, sort of.
Like the beef jerky, man.
Yeah, if you've seen a beef jerky commercial in like 5 or 10 years ago, you know.
Oh, that's easily 10 to 15 years ago.
Oh God, I'm old.
Oh yeah. Well, going back to the bumper sticker car that you saw,
yes,
Violet. There are easily 3 categories of Squatch hunter, which is the technical term for these people.
Squatch hunter.
And you've already touched on 2 of them. The ones who want to kill Bigfoot, whereas like I sent Brianne a picture of people that were like going in like full camo makeup. And if you really analyze that picture, though, you can tell immediately that those are the people who want to kill Bigfoot for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, because one guy had like a Christian shirt on that's like, we are the saviors, we are the...
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was a bad shirt.
Are there any Bigfoot hunters? Can I hunt people that hunt Bigfoot?
There
As
are
the defender
now.
of the foot? There are now.
There's the fourth classification right now.
Bigfoot
but
defenders.
the second classification are the ones who write Bigfoot erotica. Yeah.
I'm learning so much.
The monster fuckers of the world, if you will. And there is Bigfoot erotica. I mean, we shouldn't be surprised.
I mean, people love feet. They're gonna love big feet.
These are big feet.
These are big feet. And then there is the third classification, which I find myself under that classification because it is the skeptical believer.
Okay.
And you can honestly, like, any cryptid can always has like the three main classifications is the people who want to kill the cryptid, the people who want to fuck the cryptid, and the person who wants to believe.
Okay, so
in the cryptid.
That's like me with aliens.
Yeah. So it's the Fox Mulders of the world. Like, we go into like.
Okay, I'm sorry. Fox Mulder definitely wants to fuck the aliens too.
Yeah,
though.
Okay. So he's
yeah.
Well, he coined the term originally of like I want to believe.
Yes.
But it's that sentiment of I want to believe this is real, but I'm not going to believe the first two classifications.
Yeah. And, like for me, that's where I'm at with like Bigfoot. But when we get into like Loch Ness Monster and most like sea monster, I know Loch Ness is a lake monster. I should clarify.
Right.
When you get into like sea monsters, one thing I learned recently, and correct me if I'm wrong, most of those are just whale penises. Because when when whales are mating, it's like a big orgy, and when a penis having whale,
prehensile,
when a penis having whale
penis
is waiting to go, they go up to surface and stick their peeper up in the air, and it looks like a sea monster.
Wiggle it around, yeah.
In which case, the second category really has the biggest advantage.
Yeah.
You know, this is a monster something is fucking, so. It's whales, presumably. So
well, and also like we've discovered more about outer space than we have our own ocean.
That's true.
And so
it could be a big red herring.
Like it could be a big red herring.
No, it's a penis.
Or it's a penis. It's a big red penis.
Yeah, herrings are way too small.
That's way too small, baby. That's
It's a big red whale penis.
You got me there. What a fool am I.
But off of penises, back to giant feet. So yes, the categories of Bigfoot hunters. So you fall in the skeptical believer, and there's a rating system. Is there any big delineation with like types of Squatches?
That's a good question. I mean, you're mostly going to see them in rural foresty areas, like anywhere that has like a big forest. Like, people don't think of forests being in Oklahoma, but there are, mostly in East Oklahoma. The rest of it is just desert that
and bowling
surprisingly
alleys.
Smells like skunk, and bowling alleys. Yeah. Remember that term later, because that actually comes up again. Yeah. The people who hunt, and I mean that literally. I don't know why I did quotations with my hands, because literally, I do mean literally.
I think it's also facetious though, because I don't think they're ever coming back going, "Yep, got a Bigfoot. Go mount this one up on the wall."
Yeah.
I mean, like, if we look at this from a biology standpoint, like, biologists do go out into the world, like, especially field biologists. They go out into the world and they look for specimens that they can bring back specifically for the purpose of dissecting and understanding their biology. So, if a biologist was to go out into the world and find a Bigfoot, they would want to study this thing inside and out. However,
so would the ones who want to fuck Bigfoot.
Right, exactly. So their purpose is to go out and to figure out what the biology of this creature really is. And there was this huge controversy not too long ago. I think it was in New Zealand. It was either in New Zealand or Tasmania. It was one of those islands. And a biologist actually discovered that a very rare bird species that they had thought had been extinct was starting to reemerge.
Oh, yeah.
And the biologist found a male specimen of that species, and this was like the only one that anybody had seen in like 50 years, and killed it so that he could study it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Jesus
And that was within the last 10 years, I think, either 10 or 15 years, because time has no meaning, so I don't remember exactly when that happened. But it's like, you just killed potentially what was the last of this species.
Yeah. It's like, what is more important, knowing the biology of a creature, or knowing that the creature will continue to exist? Like, to me, it's very obvious that the creature existing makes the information you would gain from dissecting it matter. You know?
Yeah.
So like, it's so backwards. I don't get it.
Like, if anything, you should just be like, I want to facilitate an environment that makes this bird mad horny. I'm gonna put on some beach house, and I'm gonna facilitate some very chill vibes. I'm gonna make there's a bird bath over here, some pictures of heart-shaped bird bath, and just some very cool stuff for birds. And just be like, shh, I'll leave you here. Do with this what you will. Do with this what you will. Like, why would you kill them? A wink. Why would you kill them for that? And that's the thing with Sasquatch, too. It's like, if he's so rare, why are you trying to go out here and just kill the first one you find?
Yeah. For
science. And also, has anyone decided how smart Bigfoot is? Because I feel like Bigfoot has to be pretty fucking smart if he's real and hides this well.
What's the stats on Bigfoot there?
Okay. So the consensus really is that Bigfoot is semi-sentient. And that because it is a hominid, which, as we all know from evolution, that they do teach us in school, apparently.
Yeah, at my Christian school, they spent a day on teaching us that stuff. They had to, and then we had to watch a video the next day to hear the other side from the Creation Museum guy. So...
Yeah, so as we all know, that hominids, which humans are a member of that species, the Bigfoot is considered a missing link. However, the proper term that's that people want to use, or biologists, people who study the animal kingdom, they prefer the term the last common ancestor, because missing link implies that evolution is linear. And if we remember from evolution class, finches in the Galapagos, they branched out, and that's why there's like a million different species of finches. Like, some have big beaks, some have small beaks, some have really hard beaks, some have like little peckers. Like...
I don't know why you have to bring up their tiny penises, but fine.
Well, we were talking about the biggest penises in the world. It's only fair that we talk about the small penises in the world. We have to give representation.
The person who drove that truck who was horny to kill Bigfoot.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly. So, it implies, like, the term missing link implies that we have all evolved, or like humans themselves have evolved on a linear path, where everything branches off. That's why we still have gorillas. That's why we still have chimpanzees. That's why we still have other apes. And for those who don't realize or don't know that, we humans are actually considered part of the great apes family.
Oh.
And because we walk upright, we don't have tails, and
we're all invited to the Great Apes house for the holidays.
We're all invited to the Great Apes house on the holidays, as long as we don't bring potato salad.
The Great Ape.
The Great Ape. Yeah, and because of that, for a long time, Bigfoot was considered a missing link. But they're now starting to think that Bigfoot is not a missing link so much as he is a last common ancestor.
A branch.
A branch of the hominid species as a whole.
Kind of an in-between where the ape branch went and the human branch went.
Right, and it's like how chimpanzees now have entered the Stone Age. It could very well be that Bigfoot
is in the Bronze
provided
Age.
That is in the Bronze Age. However, we've never been able to study Bigfoot because we have no veritable proof that Bigfoot actually does exist. However, we don't have any proof to suggest that they don't exist. And that's where cryptozoology comes into play as a whole, is like, you can prove something exists a lot easier than you can prove that something doesn't exist.
Yeah. That's true.
It's like the whole cognitive bias thing where people in one part of the world were like, all swans are white, but if you go to Germany, there are black swans in Germany, Right. And so it's like, how do you know?
Natalie Portman played a black swan. Like,
there you go. There you go. She's not even from Germany, so.
Exactly.
But yeah, so that when it comes to like, in terms of like evolution, would you say that we are more on the Bigfoot side of things in terms of being close, or more on the ape side of things?
I think we have surpassed the ape side of things. If anything, if we look at human history as a whole, humans are very good at killing things. And that is why, like, Neanderthals and other hominids don't exist anymore. Like, we could very well have other species of humans living on this planet. And there is evidence of other species of humans, 10,000 some odd years ago, living alongside what we now know as modern humans. And the reason they don't exist anymore is because humans are terrible and kill things.
Yeah.
If I learned anything from Harry and the Hendersons, I think we're a lot more like Bigfoot than we're not. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Yeah, I do feel like, so my personal belief this is more of what I want to believe in terms of like the Bigfoot lore as a whole, is that I feel that they are hominids. They do have if not a semi-sentience, but a full-on sentience. But because we can't study them, we don't know if they are capable of creating tools or using tools or anything like that. Though there are reports of people saying that they had rocks thrown at them. They've watched these things take trees down and throw those like entire trees at people.
So they're like enormous Ewoks.
So they're enormous Ewoks, basically. And like, I mean, what is Chewbacca if not a
Bigfoot?
A Bigfoot,
right? Yeah,
that goes
and like,
yeah.
I was one of the things I was just about to ask is, has anyone ever claimed to have been attacked by a Bigfoot? Is Bigfoot gentle or is Bigfoot not gentle? Would you consider Bigfoot like safe? Would you approach Bigfoot if you saw Bigfoot?
I would consider Bigfoot the same way that I consider a wild animal.
Super fair.
If you see it, if you see it and it doesn't immediately charge at you, don't approach it.
Do not
do beef jerky.
No, do not do pranks on it about his beef jerky, like those terrible kids in those commercials.
Yeah, don't just approach it like you would approach a wild animal, as in don't approach a wild animal.
Oh, okay. I have to take notes.
Yeah, I've been doing some things wrong.
And it's also like, if we look at human communities throughout time and how different communities have more tendencies to be warlike, some are more passive, some are just completely peaceful. So like some species of Bigfoot, or some communities, I guess would be the proper term for that.
Rip it and rip it, baby.
Would be more concerned with sustaining their environment, and be wanting to protect that, and that's where like the rock and tree throwing comes in. There have been reports of people being able to communicate, quotation marks here, quote unquote communicate with them, because they'll go into the woods and have conversations with these creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was that show on, like, was it History Channel? I used to get high in college and watch some show about people who would go out looking for Sasquatch. God, was it called Finding Sasquatch? Something like that.
Probably.
But I would get stoned and they're like, Sasquatch loves jelly donuts. So I brought a bunch of jelly donuts. And then it would just be like someone who looks like they should have been getting stoned with me, eating a jelly donut, and then just going into the woods with like night vision goggles going, no Squatch today. I definitely think I smelled him. We're going to bring more jelly donuts out in the woods later. And I was like, I would do this.
I would eat jelly donuts in the woods and yell. Absolutely.
Yeah, with Sasquatch.
Am I a Bigfoot hunter?
If you probably, you're a Bigfoot enthusiast.
Sorry, I'm not a hunter.
So,
I'm a hunter of hunters for Bigfoots.
Yes.
Bigfoot,
so,
Bigfoot
like,
protector.
It's like, who watches the Squatchmen? Really, that's the question.
There it is. There's the episode title. Who watches the Squatchmen?
So what we have, so when those people who actually do go out and they do communicate, quote unquote, with the Sasquatches, which is technically Sasquatch is just like a PNW term, because of the native tribes that lived up here. There was one called the Sasquatch, and that's where Sasquatch is derived from.
That's where this show that I watched, I believe, took place, if I remember correctly. I think it was all in like Washington State and like I think in BC also.
Washington is the in terms of like there's a list of sightings by state, and Washington is number 1 on that state.
Just a minute ago, you had said P&W term, I think.
Sorry, Pacific Northwest.
Oh, I thought you meant like
so that
my bad.
Yeah, no, that's like British Columbia, Washington, Oregon.
Gotcha.
Area.
P and W, PP and wee.
Yeah. Yeah. So the going back to the people who communicate with them, there's a lot of howling that people hear that they can't really identify like what animal it comes from. However, I watched a video yesterday about this guy who was playing his violin in the desert, and every time he would do a note on his violin, he would hear coyotes matching that note.
Cool.
So, yeah, it's like, even though we can't identify the animal at the moment, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a Bigfoot or a Sasquatch. It could very well be a coyote trying to communicate, thinking, "Oh, it's another coyote. I'm gonna match the note."
Kind of like house puppers when they hear an ambulance and they start going, "Whoa!"
Exactly.
Whoa.
But really, but how do coyotes feel about jelly donuts? I think is the real defining.
I think
factor.
positively.
Well, yeah, coyotes are scavengers, so they will eat pretty much anything. But they're not like ravens in the terms where, like, if something kills one coyote, they'll actually investigate it. They're just like, oh, well, this killed Bob, so I guess that means more for me. So.
Interesting.
Yeah, so the people who communicate with Squatches, they just go out and go, awoo?
Yeah, I can't recreate the sound.
I wouldn't ask you to. It would clip like crazy.
I think I remember seeing a thing where it was something kind of like a kind of like a grunting sound.
There's that, but there's also like howler monkey howls.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll have to find the videos later.
Yeah.
I swear, I have to find that show I used to watch.
It
used to crack me up.
Yeah, there's a video on YouTube called Missing 411. I think it's on Amazon Prime too. But Missing 411 is a series, or it was a book series by a former FBI investigator. And Missing 411 tracks the disappearances of people in national parks specifically. And it's a fascinating series. Like, I've watched that documentary and the Missing 411, The Hunted, which is about hunters who know the area that they're hunting in and still disappear. But in the original documentary, Missing 411, at the tail end of that, they start getting into the spooky dooky stuff. And there's like a lady who has taken pictures of what looks like a plastic bag in the trees. And she was just out in her deer blind hunting deer, and she could hear the marching band from the school. And suddenly the marching band just cut out, and she sees these things in the trees. Like, that was creepy. Yeah. But after that part, I believe, I could be getting the timing confused, they interview this guy who is known for communicating with these animals, and he's been communicating with them since the 70s. Mm-hmm. So I would like to believe that somebody who has been communicating with what he believes is Bigfoot for over 40 years to have figured out by now if it wasn't actually a fox or a coyote. Or even a fucking peacock. Like, have you heard those things scream?
No.
They sound like people.
Oh my God.
Oh God.
Yeah, they sound like people screaming.
I feel like peacocks are one of those animals that it's great in concept, but in reality, just no.
Cool in concept, yeah.
Yeah. Cool in concept, bad in practice.
And Vixens in Heat also sound like people screaming. So
that's a great band name.
Yeah, Vixens in Heat.
What a great fucking.
Hey, y'all want to start a band after this?
Yeah.
Vixens in Heat.
Yeah. It'll just be me screaming like a fox.
Yeah. Hunting for the squatch. Hell yeah.
So yeah, Missing 411 I highly recommend, especially if you want to never go out into the woods again.
Spooky.
But also it has a really good example of the type of howling that Bigfoot enthusiast and like I would consider this guy who's been communicating with them for 40 some odd years, I would consider him an enthusiast, specifically because he's not out there to hunt them. He wants to communicate with them.
He just wants to have a talk.
Yeah, he just wants to have a talk. Like, to me, he's on my level, except he is more on the believer side, and I'm still on the skeptical side of where is the evidence. Like, because like chimpanzees have entered into the Stone Age, they're starting to use tools. They're eventually going to get into brandishing weapons against the human overlords, that kind of thing.
Honestly, I wish they'd just hurry up at this point.
They're already completely menacing. Like, when they're children, they're completely docile, but as soon as they get into their adolescence...
That's what I've said. As soon as they reach sexual maturity, it's over. They will eat your face.
I feel like,
they're terrible.
I feel like the reality of our future is somewhere smack in the middle between Idiocracy and Planet of the Apes. You know what I mean?
I honestly, out of both of those, I would rather it be Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Because if it's Idiocracy, just kill me now.
Yeah. I want the apes to take over, and they will grant me clemency because I'm a vegan.
Yes.
And I would hope, and I would be like, hey, don't hurt me. I'm pretty chill. Would you like to see some magic tricks?
Like, that's how you become the jester for the
the ape
court. Great ape overlord.
The great ape.
I'm essentially
the court of the great ape.
Yeah, I'm essentially a jester right now, and I feel like the apes would compensate me a little more fairly. Yeah. So, but very cool, Taryn. Thank you very much for telling us who squatches the Squatchmen.
Yeah.
I'm just obsessed with that right now. We will have all of Taryn's notes up on the Mixnomer Patreon page, so you can take a deep dive. They will include some cool notes where you could probably hear some howling. and just maybe become a Squatch enthusiast of your own.
Right.
Maybe you can be a Squatch defender.
I
We do not abide any hunting of Squatch.
Yeah, don't hunt the Squatch. If you
Yeah,
do,
if I
the
could make
Squatchmen
a
are coming
very-
for you.
Yeah, a very quick book recommendation. This is one of the books that inspired Roger Patterson, who is of the Patterson-Gimlin film, the most famous Squatch video that everyone has seen. It's considered, funnily, it's considered a short film on IMDb.
Oh.
Yeah, but the author that inspired Roger Patterson to make a pseudo-documentary about cowboys looking for Bigfoot that ultimately led to the filming of, I think her name is Patty. That's what everybody, I want to say that's what people call the Sasquatch that was captured in that film, because everybody believes that she's female and that her name is Patty after Patterson. It could be Bessie. I don't remember. I cannot find a confirmative on this.
That would be hilarious, because that's my mom's name.
Yeah, I hope it's Bessie.
Bessie?
Yeah.
My mom's name is Patty. So.
Oh my god.
We're winners either way.
Our moms are both Sasquatches.
Yeah. So my book recommendation is by Ivan T. Anderson. He wrote an article about Bigfoot in 1958 that ultimately inspired Roger Patterson to do his cowboy film. And then in 1961, he wrote this book called The Abominable Snowmen Legend Come to Life. And I just really quick want to read this book blurb to y'all. What are they? The hairy giants of Vancouver Island? The mouth man who craves only red meat? The thing that rips tongues out of the cattle? The wind man of Russia? The stinkers of Malaya? These are only a sampling of the published cases of submen, trolls, and what used to be called ape men, documented and discussed in this definitive book by an eminent field biologist. The Abominable Snowman, appearing for the first time in an up-to-date and revised edition, is the masterwork on this subject and has challenged the skeptics and kept thousands of readers utterly spellbound. And you can read this for free on archive.org.
Oh, hell yeah.
So
But yeah,
stinky.
globally, they are known to stink. That is part of the Bigfoot canon.
Wild.
Well, thank you so much, Taryn. We'll have your notes up on the Patreon. And yeah, thanks for taking a dump with us.
Yeah, thanks for dumping it all out.
Hey, it's Brianne from, well, not the future, but the future of when this episode was recorded, but the past for when you're listening to this. I thought I would do some housekeeping. I like to record these well in advance because we're also working on our other show, so some of the housekeeping stuff, if I don't get to it in the episode, I'll just do it closer to publishing, like I want to do here. So yeah, check out the episode details to find mine and Violet's social media handles. I still don't have any, like, official Infodumpies social media, because honestly, I don't want another account to handle, but I'm thinking about it. But anyway, yeah, if you want to see where we lurk on the internet otherwise, you can do that. If you like this show, you should also check out the show we've been doing for the past 3 years, pretty much, which is Today's Lucky Winner. It is an audio drama that I write, and Violet and I both voice act on, along with some very talented people, including Taryn from this episode, who is going to be a full-fledged cast member for Season 3, but is also my sensitivity reader for any content I make regarding asexuality for the asexual main character in Today's Lucky Winner. So Taryn is instrumental for our other show getting done, because I could not have written this character as well as I managed to without them. Also, if you want to see more from Taryn, I have links to Taryn's social media stuff in the episode details, so you can see what they're up to and support them and their art. If you would like to support us in another way, you can share about the show. I don't pay for advertising. We never will. We don't take sponsored ads either. Just as a rule for Mixnomer, we want you to know that we're not trying to sell you something from a company that doesn't care about you, and we would rather be audience supported and have, slow and steady growth, and that's all you guys. So if you would share about the show on social media, in your Discord server, on your Friendster or your Zanga, whatever the kids are using, that would help us a ton. If you are in a place where you can help us with monies, you can go support the Mixnomer Patreon, where for just $1 a month, you could join our Discord server and have fun live streams and hang out with me and Violet and Taryn too. And everyone who's on today is lucky winner, pretty much. We did a stream where we watched Austin Powers recently. The day before this episode comes out, there's a stream where Violet and I will be playing Baldur's Gate, and I'm going to try to smooch everybody in Baldur's Gate 3. And we play Jackbox games together as a Discord server a lot. It's really fun, and that's just at $1 a month. At some higher levels on our Patreon, you can get a cool shout out, like our friends Randy Lovings, Rachel Rachelson, Sewing Sarah, Lucy, B. Trossler, Kelly Brennan, Smriti Singh, Helen Clifford, M. Mosen, and Fleetwood Mac Sexpants. And if you are looking for peer support and or coaching and you're an AuDHD person, that's one of my other jobs that I make most of my monies doing, and it's something that I really enjoy and I try to make as accessible as possible. So if you are an AuDHDer, or you think you might be AuDHD, or you just figured out you are and you don't know what's next, go check out my site. It's listed in the show details, but I do coaching and peer support where I've done everything from help people find ways to accommodate for themselves at work without adding themselves. I've helped people organize how to get their work done for doing their dissertation. I will be an assistant to your executive function. And I can share my lived experience of all the things I've tried to do to be nicer to my brain. So you don't have to do all that trial and error. But anyway, we will see y'all in a couple of weeks.